We were raised by a single mother. When I was about 4 years old, our house burned down. Insurance didn't cover paying off that mortgage. So fortunately, my mom was a nurse and she was able to work a ridiculous amount of hours, some 80 hours a week, and pay off that mortgage while still finding us another place to live. So I've been fortunate to have a lot of really good role models in my life. Obviously, my mom being at the top of that list. Okay. While it's good, why rock the boat when my child support's low? Yes. Okay. We know who it was filed by.
She always very passionately said, I'm going to be an attorney. And she'd look at me with dead set eyes, and I 100% believed her. And not only just becoming an attorney, but actually being a good attorney that is going to make a difference. Erin's passion sets the bar for everyone else in our office. So we're at home on a Saturday night, it's 8 o'clock, Erin's phone starts buzzing. It says a lot of our staff who's feverishly working to prepare for the cases that we're going to handle that next week. They share Erin's passion, and it's contagious, and it's been spreading through our firm.
All right, thanks for staying so late. All right, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye. I love doing family law. I feel like I really help people every day. I feel like we really make a difference for people, and I feel like families are benefited from the work we do. I started this firm with $2,500 in my bank account, and in the course of a year, I've helped over 200 families find a way to get through the turmoil that they're experiencing. I'm Erin Morse, and I'm here to help your family find your new normal.
What should I do?
What should I do?
What should I do?
What should I do?
What are my rights? What are my rights?
What are my rights?
A legal course of action.
A legal course of action.
A legal course of action.
A legal Morse of action.
Test. Perfect.
It's so hard to walk in. I understand how good I'm making it look, but it's
Wow, I can't believe I made it. No, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to a brand new episode of Legal Morse of Action. My name is Patricio, and as always, I am joined by attorney Erin Morse. How you doing, Erin?
I am about approximately as good as I should be.
And on tonight's show, we do have a special guest.
Will it work? No.
I'm gonna let you, Erin, introduce our guest.
Today we have our newest associate, Letitia, and she is here with us and here to make it happen with our family law. She now works here. She's a part of the team, and we're all pretty excited about it.
Yes, we are.
I begged her to come on the show. She was.
Yes, she did.
I was like, come on, do it.
No, for real. I did bring up the idea to you last minute. My apologies. That's how we do the show here at the office. But yeah, I twisted your arm a little bit. I was like trying to sugarcoat and like, hey, this is what we do.
You did, but you know what?
Peer pressure.
It's okay. I gave in, so it's fine.
Oh man!
Like only major pressure from like your boss.
I know, right? Like,
are you gonna do it? I'm like, you're gonna say no?
Let me fix that on there, and there we go. Okay.
Is it too loud?
No, I didn't incorporate the laughing, so that's on my part. So we're good. It's still picking you guys up. So how are both of y'all doing tonight?
You already asked us that.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm still catching my breath from running back and forth. And before we even started the show,
Yes, thank you.
I gotta say, every time. It never fails.
What?
Carlos always pops in during the show.
I know, he's polite. He's like, I won't vacuum. Like, he's the best.
But yeah, no, right before we started recording, I had to go back and forth because I forgot something right as I had hit live. You had
I
mentioned...
didn't realize he forgot it, and I didn't mean to make you rush around for it. I thought it was just like, I don't know. I'm sorry.
No, it is what it is. I am at your disposal. But tonight, the topic that we are going to be talking about is bad co-parenting. But we do want to give a quick...
I want to thank everybody for their bad co-parenting. It totally gives me a career. Let me start there.
So let's actually find out the definition. Like, what is a co-parent?
So it's usually when you're no longer with your significant other with whom you've had a child.
Okay.
So that may be that you had a child and you were not married, or where you were married and now you're divorced or separated. You guys are now co-parents. You're not husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend or whatever designation y'all had for yourself.
And I'm trying to fix the angle so I don't look crooked. And there we go.
My eyes are dark. Just kidding.
No, and my apologies that we're not doing this at your house. And my apologies that we're not doing the office.
The lighting is way better there.
100%. So, okay, co-parenting and bad co-parenting. You had brought this up to me as a topic a few days ago as we were actually talking about future topics for the show and future projects for the internally here at the office. And now, mind you, I have no experience when it comes to co-parenting. I'm not a parent. I've never dealt with that situation, but I've been a step parent. I've played that role here and there multiple times in my adulthood. But in regards to like being having the role of a father and having to make decisions or enforce what I want to do, like I want to get like the perfect advice. I want to get like all the information because you and I have been talking, and you and I have been talking
Yes.
over a couple of things that have been going on in my life, and Patricia don't want to be Patricia no more. Patricia want to be a daddy.
Well, like I told you, communication is key.
Yes.
That's the most important thing for co-parenting.
And chilling the F out. Like, you don't need to be like worried about every little thing. You kind of have to, there comes a point in your co-parenting relationship where you kind of have to accept and let go of the fact that, you're going to have a little bit of trust.
Yep.
How often have you had to deal with like a bad co-parent situation?
Every day.
Like all the time.
Todos los días.
Very nice. Very good on that one. So without going into full detail, like, can you give us like an example of what a bad co-parent is?
Well, we had an example today.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Or what could have been, right? Without enough information.
Correct.
And I'm actually going to change the details of this a little bit. But an example of a bad co-parent was the person called us and said, my ex wants to ask if the kids can go to grandma's for spring break. Like if grandma can take the children on a trip for spring break. And I remember we were kind of having this talk within the office because we discussed these things and it had come up. And we try to keep everybody informed of the cases. That's a big thing that we try to do so that anybody could be helpful and kind of jump in.
Yeah.
So it had come up in the office, and, a lot of the instincts were that just say no. And I'm like, why? Is grandma a problem? Like, I'm like, maybe ask that question, like, to, the person who's asking.
Yeah.
Ask that question. Is grandma an issue? Is grandma a problem? Or someone who isn't a good person for the children to go with? If not, say yes if you can.
So, and there are a lot of factors involved with like before even giving that instruction itself.
But, and I use the example because I saw a couple of, my staff kind of look at me like, really? They don't have to. Grandparents don't have any rights, right? I know. But I was like, the example that I gave was my son. My son goes on vacation with my mom up to Massachusetts very often. That's where he sees all his cousins and family. I don't have the chance to leave because none of you will let me and take him on these trips, but my mom does.
Was that just a jab at all of us here at the office? Like,
Everyone.
hey, we make sure you're...
Was a jab at every single person. I'm so tired. I'm just kidding. No, it is a lot, obviously I juggle a lot with the office.
Yeah.
But my son wouldn't have that opportunity. Now, I imagine if I were in a co-parenting situation, and if I were to reach out to, my ex, if so be it,
Yeah.
that they would go, oh, yeah, Nana Beth has taken Connor on so many trips that, of course, we want those relationships to continue. And then I would say the same about my co-parents' family, right? Oh, you want to take them for an overnight and it's my night, but the family has something going on? I would hope that every time I would say yes. And I would hope that all of my clients would guide their children to say, yes, you can go. Be with family, do the fun things, have a sleepover, hang out with your cousins, see grandma. Because who benefits from you saying no?
Who benefits from you saying no? Only one co-parent, but the kids lose, right?
So
Everyone loses.
Right. So I'm going to do what I do to clients.
Okay.
Answer the question I asked only.
Uh-huh.
Who benefits from you saying no?
Me?
Right. Who loses?
The kids?
Right.
And
So when you
Wifey.
make that decision, was it selfish?
yes.
Because you only thought about yourself.
One of these days, I'm going to have you wear headphones, Erin.
That's why I don't.
But when you think about it, at the end of the day, it'll come and bite them in the butt. Because you tell them, no, you can't see my family, or you can't see their family, they're going to come back and be petty.
And I was just about
No one wins.
And if here, I'm gonna actually counter what often happens to me. But when I asked, he said no last time.
Oh, God, how many times have we heard that
A
one?
million.
Yeah.
My response to that is, this isn't about you. Do you realize that you are making that comment based on you alone?
Bad. Very
Your
bad.
children lose out. Stop making the decisions based on just you.
It's a very tricky road, and I wanted to ask you, Letitia, like, there ever been a situation where like you've had to deal with a bad co-parent, and like how was that issue or that matter resolved?
I mean, yeah, all the time. Usually, I would say usually I'll have issues with the moms. Maybe they don't like the new girlfriend, the new wife, so they become really, really petty. But I know Erin touched on this. It's really important to remind them what's in the best interest of the child. Whenever they go crazy, they go out of this world with it. It's like to bring them back down. Okay, but what do the children want? Do they want to see his family? Do they want to go with the dad? Do they want to go on this trip? And then sometimes it brings them back to reality. Sometimes.
It doesn't always work.
Yeah, but sometimes.
You can't always get through to people. And I find that people unfortunately sometimes will why should I lose out on time? I'm sorry, what did I just say?
It's keeping
This
the
ain't
interest
about
of the kid.
you. You have their whole life. They have this one trip.
Yep.
Fucking let it go.
I working as on the legal assistance side, there have been multiple times where I've heard a client or a prospect say those exact same things. I'm always the one having to give in. I'm always the one having to make him happy.
Your children are so blessed. Thank you for that. Is that what you wanted, ma'am? Here's your round of applause.
I'm just gonna remove my headphones before you scream into the freaking mic.
This is your high five for being a good parent, okay? Because your children may never remember the occasion, but they'll never forget that feeling.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, we actually have a comment right here. I wish my parents had watched some of your videos because so many issues could have been resolved if they had just communicated. I lost a lot of opportunities because my mom didn't want to let my dad have me for special occasions, so I missed out once in a lifetime things because she was petty. Wow.
That's so accurate. I have someone who commented on my personal stream. I'm also streaming on my private Facebook. And she goes, I wish someone would take my kids. JK. No, I agree. This is why I love them. My mom is helpful with it and takes them on a vacation. I'm like, take the break. This is a free, you don't have to feel guilty. You didn't need a babysitter. Maybe you can go on a vacation, a guilt-free vacation, right?
Yeah.
Don't forget that you still have to be a person for yourself, and that's not necessarily selfish. You don't need, just because you become a parent doesn't mean you need to be this like all in martyr.
Yeah.
You know, and especially when you get opportunities like this is like a, you know, get out of jail free card.
Use it.
There, and once again, like I'll
free
say,
babysitting.
I'll say it again when speaking to certain clients, and you know, having them reassess the situation themselves, and having them repeat their answers. It sometimes, you know, like the light bulb, like, well, is grandfather that much of a dick that you don't want him to be watching Little Susie this weekend, or are they really that bad? And then they'll hesitate when they want to give their response. When I hear that like 2 to 3 second break of them processing the question,
they didn't have a good reason.
They didn't have a good reason, and they're trying to throw me the how would I say it, the answer of like, well, there's a dog in that neighborhood that once in a while is not on their leash, and I've seen stories on the news where dogs attack kids because they were right there. And it's
so true.
It's the pettiest responses.
Yep, that's. I'm going to tell the judge that. It's a good idea. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. Let's put that in the summary evidence. Thank you. One that I heard recently, and this.
I'm going to read it.
That's really sad.
I miss seeing the inside of Lake Eola Fountain when they rebuilt it because my mom said she wouldn't let Dad have me. Still pissed my dad and I off. This happened in 2011. Damn, Destiny.
You know, and that's something to remember. I'm really glad that you brought that up, Destiny. Like, thank you for that insight because, again, people aren't thinking about this side of it, that, you know, you really miss out on these opportunities. Your children miss out. Because your children aren't like, I'm really upset because my dad had 7 more overnights this year than my mom. Do you think any kid ever thinks about that?
No.
Never.
No.
But they remember birthdays. They remember
They remember missing out on seeing the inside of the Lake Eola Fountain. Yes. They remember they missed out on that family trip. They remember they missed out on this school event. They remember that kind of stuff. They and I don't know. Your children really reap the benefits if you can shut the fuck up. Be a better co-parent. So I want to bring up another instance that one of my clients had brought to me, and I was like, oh, I can't bring that in front of the judge, right? Mm-hmm. Where our client said, well, during the other parent's time, you know, on their days, they're going to put our child in aftercare or in like daycare or whatever. And I was like, you know your judge is a woman, right? And they're like, yeah. And a mother. And then I'm not done. And then I don't like being cut off. I'll stop it. Don't worry. I'm in control. And then I was like, you know this woman has children, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm like, you think they put their children in aftercare? They're a judge until at least 5 p.m. Damn. I'm like, so when you go to court and you go, it's so bad for them to be in aftercare and daycare. You just called out this judge for an exact parenting decision I am damn sure she made.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Know your audience. Know your audience.
I'm like, that's going to go nowhere. I can't make that argument to this judge. She will look at me like, first of all, I know you're also a mother, Attorney Morse, because we socialize in our attorney circles. So did you just make an argument on a parenting decision you also made? I think this particular judge knows me well enough to go, I know that you went to law school when your son was 5 months old. So don't sit here and tell me that you didn't make a very conscious decision to be both a person working and a mother.
This is actually one of the and forgive me for saying it like this, like one of the huge selling points when I'm talking about you to potential clients, because of the fact that you have gone through some of the worst hardships a mother has to go through with having to raise a child on your own. I mean, I know you were married at the time, but you went through a lot and dealing with law school, you know, maintaining a home, providing for the kid and everything. Like you went through the freaking grind.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm always like pushing to clients. Like, believe me, she has the passion because she's dealt a lot of. She's been dealt a bad hand her whole life.
Yeah.
And you've persevered. So, kudos to you, Erin. That's all I gotta say.
But sometimes it can make me, it's a good thing because I know that judges see the worst of the world and like the most difficult struggles and some of our worst stories, right, that we have coming up. And so when we present certain arguments, I really can tell our clients, like, that's not going to go far. Because sometimes I have opposing counsels and the other side who makes these arguments, and I'm like, I know where that's going. Did you just say your that daycare is dangerous to this judge who's a female mother?
No, I let me ask a biased question. Like, I mean, there are certain daycares that aren't up to
Par.
up to par. Thank you. Like, what about those situations when like the bad co-parent who's always been crying wolf now is
no, that was just me. I really have an itch.
Oh, I thought I was like,
no, you're fine. I really have an itch. I just was giving you due attention.
I thought I was on second base and you were trying to give me a signal or some sort.
Well, Erin, she's blunt.
I know.
I can't see far away. I have my contacts in. But
actually, no, you're right. She would have said, Patricio, you got a booger sticking on your left nostril. Thank you, Erin.
Yeah, I would.
Good to go.
I'd come out with it.
So in certain situations where the bad co-parent that has been crying wolf this whole time and now is actually at the top of their lungs, no, my kid is in danger. My kid is in danger. Like, how are you able to distinguish a situation like that?
The difference with that is if it's a bad daycare, call DCF. Like, why are you taking it to this judge? Right? So it's, an unfortunate reality. Like, if you want to change the daycare, you'll probably have a good case for that.
Yeah.
And I can file a motion for that, and that's understandable, that the two of you can't come to some co-parenting agreement, right? Some shared parental responsibility type agreement. We can file a motion for that. But if you're like, daycare's bad, all of them are bad, I can't do it, and children are abused in daycare, the judge is going to be like,
you have to have
did
legit
you just
reasons.
call me out? Did you just... I'm taking this personal. And the judge is going to go, and I took that personally, right? Like,
now, Letitia, with your experience, do you feel that, and you had made a comment before, and I want to jump in on that one. Do you feel that the pettiness comes more from the father or more from the mother?
Ooh, good question.
I object. It's both.
Honestly, I would say the mothers.
Well, that's because you came from a male representing
But I have to say, men know how to trigger women.
It's kind of bring, they wanna.
So
women don't know anything.
Women don't what?
I'm kidding. I was leading off her joke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You
really think I would really say something like that? Come on.
No, I'm just about to tear you down.
But honestly, both sides. But from my experience, I see a little bit more on the women.
I think there is a lot of gatekeeping from the female side.
Yeah.
I think that can happen.
Yeah.
Do you feel that it's because, and now I'm talking from a man's standpoint, do you feel it's because they carried the child for 9 months? That they have the right to pull that petty card?
I think it's both. I think there are problems on both sides in many ways. My opinion is oftentimes that men don't take that more aggressive approach to parenting. Like, for example, oftentimes when a man finds out that a woman is like leaving the jurisdiction, if I were like, go to, Alabama, put your kid in the car and drive back to Florida, a woman wouldn't hesitate. She's like, I'm already driving. Is it okay if I speed? Right?
Oh my God, I'm already thinking about Yeah.
A man is like, but what if? And he's got 1,000 what ifs, and then he doesn't do it. I have one case in particular where the child was removed to one of the ABC Islands.
The ABC Islands?
Yeah.
Is it as easy as 1, 2, 3?
Yes, it's in fact a Jackson 5 song. Thank you. Anyway, was removed to somewhere in the Caribbean.
Okay.
The children were brought there because that's where mom was from.
Okay.
And I said, I got in the court order. I got the return orders. I did everything I needed to do. I'm like, look, we got it. Yeah. We'll win. Yeah. Dads. Yeah. And everything I needed to do, I got it done. I got it timely. It was like magical. I made magic happen for him, okay? In a courtroom. You know, it's hard. This particular area of law is hard to do. And then I gave him the orders. I'm like, you need to go get certified orders. You need to go do this. You need to go do that. And then the next step is you go there and you pick up the children. He wouldn't do it.
On what grounds?
He was scared.
Why was he scared?
Well, okay. By you mentioning that, I'm already thinking about another case that you had me working on for quite a while now, where fear is a huge factor when it comes to the decision making and the time sharing. You know, there are certain factors that don't get looked at when father and mother are battling it out. You know, whether it's another pending case that's restricting one individual from having full contact with the other parent. Mm-hmm. He's not being a bad co-parent. It's just that there are restrictions right now that are prohibiting him from being the co-parent or parent that he needs to be, right or wrong.
I think that he isn't taking an aggressive enough of a stance.
Okay.
So a male client, if I'm like, hey, this is what you should do, you just get in the car, you put the kids in the car, and you freaking go. Normally, a dad won't do that.
Because a lot of
even
men,
if he had court orders in hand that he was entitled to do this, those court orders included instruction to each and every law enforcement officer to assist in the enforcement and execution of the children to be returned to the father. And he was too scared to go execute it.
now a lot of gentlemen that I talk
Don't make
to.
an excuse for him.
I'm not trying to make an excuse for him, but I want to sway in because there are a lot of men who think like this, that the courts favor the mother.
But I already won.
I was just about to say that.
But I won. I won. I did this. This court did not favor the mother. This court favored you.
Next week you're wearing gloves. You're wearing headphones because every time you hit the table, the microphones pick up the doom 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 doom.
Good.
But I have to agree, though, from representing mostly fathers, they do have a fear that the judicial system treats, the mothers way better than the fathers. So they feel like whatever they do is under a microscope, and whatever they do is going to get criticized. Versus if a mother does it.
You're exactly right. And part of the criticism is they're like, why didn't you go get the children? Right?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? That's part of the criticism, that they're like, okay, you're such a good parent, you're so right and righteous and there, and you're going to be the parent that you need to be advocating for your children, but you didn't go pick them up.
That's true.
When she walked out the door, you weren't like, stop, no. Like,
that's true.
You know what I mean? So then the
true.
court's like, well, now they've been in the mother's care and here for 6 months. What do? I don't want to disrupt the children because I got to think about the children, not the parents. I'm not here to punish the parents.
So a crazy question that I want to ask, and when there's a pretrial, when we're in court, why is it that a child can't speak on their behalf?
On their own behalf?
On their own behalf, because I'm
gonna tell you the legal reason, but first I'm gonna tell you the intrapersonal human being reason.
Okay.
Because I don't want any child to have the memory, like our commenter here, that they needed to sit in a courtroom in front of a judge and someone went, now tell the court who you love more. It almost doesn't matter what they say. You are traumatizing that child into believing that they did something that harmed their relationship with their other parent. They will never forget that. They will never forget having to be put in that position. So now what about your dad? Do you love him? And in their mind, depending on which parent has influenced them or alienated them, they're thinking about what they have to say. Or if one of the parents is the abuser, they're going to side with the abuser if the abuser's like, I'm going to beat your ass if you don't say you want to be with me. I'll kill you and your brother. What's a scared 9-year-old gonna do? I love my dad. Why are you gonna do that?
So
I see you tearing up. That's fucking sad as hell, isn't it?
it is.
Right? So
And-
whether or not that's why.
And we've dealt with cases where there's been violence involved in the home, especially against the minor children, to the point where and like I said, we see this all the time where a mother will say, "Oh my God, Johnny recorded his dad yelling at him and getting in his face. Can we use that as a? Can we have all this evidence?
No.
Can we show it into the court?"
Show the guardian ad litem.
And we talked about the roles of guardian ad litem in previous episodes, and I'm not even going to refresh that. If you want to find out what we talked about the guardian ad litem, I believe it's episode 12 or 13 where we dived into their roles in the family court process.
Right.
But
that's really why. So the court doesn't want that kind of bad behavior.
We once again, thank you, Destiny, for weighing in on this topic. I was supposed. Go ahead.
I don't want children to speak to the court ever. I will rarely ever make that request because the decisions that you might make at 14 may not be the decisions that you would make at 18. Because it's just easy to manipulate. I spit on the. It's easy to. Children are easy to manipulate, right? And then, whether or not you made the right decision, even if you had the opportunity to do that and actually go to court, your voice will be heard through a guardian ad litem. The children's voice will be heard. I'm not saying your children's voice can't be heard. I'm saying I'm not bringing them to court. Because that is traumatizing. Judges don't know how to speak to children.
What is your take on having a child give testimony in a courtroom, Letitia?
I hate it. I haven't had a case yet to where I felt like it was necessary. So, and I agree with Erin. I think it's traumatizing to bring a kid in there. And honestly, in that position, they don't know who to choose. Especially they have love with both parents. They don't know who to choose. And to put them in that position is horrible.
So there is the option, certain things would have to happen for a child to take the stand. What would be
It's a really high burden.
What would be a circumstance in which a child would actually have to take the stand in a court proceeding?
I can't think of one.
Because I would think a guardian ad litem can speak for the child on whatever issues.
Right. I can't think of one where I think it would be best for the child to speak.
Okay. I mean, different.
The child's emancipated.
Would that, if the child is emancipated,
they'd be considered an adult.
Could a child be emancipated during a divorce proceeding?
Yeah.
What happens at that point? If
they're no longer subject to the parenting plan.
Oh shit.
I don't even like having 21, 22, 23-year-old children. Of the parties, it's still your babies, right? Mm-hmm. I don't want them to testify. I don't want your 25, 30-year-old child to testify.
What would be the reason on not wanting them to testify?
Because don't fucking make them do this. How fucking petty are you? Right? Mm-hmm. Why are you going to drag your kids into this? They don't deserve that. They deserved you to shield them from this. They don't need that. They don't need that.
Earlier today,
we had a case where they did that. It was the stepchild.
Okay. I think I know which one you're talking about.
And they thought it was going to be for the mother. I represent the dad in this case. Mm-hmm. They thought that the testimony was going to be for the mother. And then what was uncovered in court was that the mother was abusive to the child.
You
flipped the script on that one real quick. I was like, don't let me out. That's the other problem is I'm going to be honest with you. We're sharks. Don't let me question them. I ruined that child's relationship with his parents. He was honest in court, but he thought he was testifying for his mom, and I ended up eliciting testimony that was all against his mom. That's why. Don't let me at him. Don't do it.
That's terrible.
Yeah, don't. It's not safe. It really isn't. It isn't a safe space. The courts are ill-equipped to handle these kind of issues.
Earlier today, and I don't want to throw all of it out there, but when we were in the bullpen today, you were opening up about a couple of things, and you had made a comment that literally rattled my cage, just blew me out of the water. How you would actually, in one of the most difficult times in your life, you would kept the best interest of the child at heart, and you were battling literally everyone, and even a customer service rep.
I screamed at like everybody in my path that like I'm making these decisions. It ain't for you, it ain't for you, it ain't for you, it ain't for you, it ain't for me, and I don't care what any of you have to say. The person who I have to make this decision for is my son. No.
Now, this is where and yell at me later, but I want to ask this. Sure. Were you making that decision as a mother, or were you applying like case law and just like your legal background into the situation?
It had nothing to do with case law. I don't know that there's case law on it. This was me making a decision on behalf of my son exclusively. Because other people's interests, they could only think about themselves. And I'm like, by you making that decision or forcing these actions to take place, you take from my son. And if I sit here and I advocate all day long for other people and other people's children, what do you think's going to happen when it comes to my son?
Go hard.
Yeah.
No kidding. I'll be flipping tables. I don't care. I don't care.
No, I've had conversations with Sam, both in and out of the office, on our hanging out time, where the comment has always been made, "Oh no, a prenup has been signed. A prenup has been signed."
It's true.
And I can't even fathom the language that you had put in there, because I'm sure.
You know I'm a wordsmith. You've seen me put together some real good artistic things.
I know. And I mean, yeah, just the language itself that would be in there. I'm sure, you love your husband. You love your husband with all your heart, and you've said that. You say it, you profess it, you do it all the time.
Yep.
But I'm sure that when you had drafted whatever prenup you did, you did it in the best interest of the child, right?
Yeah, of Connor. I was like, I need to make sure that I maintain, these things involved in the prenup and my assets and my ability and my business and all of these things because they are things that I build, and eventually my expectation is that I'd share them with Connor, not separate them out in the time of a divorce. And my husband made a comment when I broached the subject. He was like, "Of course. You're a family law attorney." And I would be very concerned that you're not a very good divorce attorney if you didn't suggest this. Our future ain't secure at all. You're not very smart. So that was like his first approach to it, that he goes, totally expected. I respect it. I don't mind. We're never going to use it, but I really understand, and that's not what I'm with you for. He didn't pause. He read it. I offered to pay for him to have an attorney to review it, everything.
That's big of you. That really is. And I'm coming to you right before I even pop the question.
That's right.
I'm coming to Erin too.
Yeah.
But let me ask you, Leticia. Are you engaged? You guys engaged?
Yes.
So, as a family law attorney who is in the process of getting married, what has been your approach in this aspect? And I'm sorry for even going down this road.
No, I mean, we actually going to do a prenup. Guess who's help? Guess who I'm hiring? I told my fiance, I was like, "You think you're gonna get someone? I got a pit bull."
Yeah, right.
Don't think.
I was like, "You guys, I got a divorce going on." Yeah.
So I mean, of course, and then we've been together for 6 years.
Okay.
So of course, he has properties. I've lived in the home in his name for 6 years. So we already know that. I mean, of course, he doesn't know all the family law stuff, but I'm pretty sure he's going to get advice.
You're not going to show all your cards.
Right. But we're going to be fair
Yeah.
at the end of the day. We put in a lot of years already, and so he knows to be fair. He knows that I'm not playing. He knows Erin's not going to play around. Okay, so it's going to be
funny
good.
because he had known me before. Yeah. Back then, you had told stories, and now
He already knows.
Yeah.
So, you know, he is, I'm very confident, you know. I mean, 6 years, he already knows who I am, so.
Now, with my first husband,
Yes.
I did not have a prenup. Because when we entered into that marriage, we didn't have 2 pennies to rub together. Okay? So there was nothing to make sure we save. So, it was okay.
Like, yeah, it's a different.
It was just different. I didn't have anything. You know, we didn't know where our careers would go. It was before I was an attorney. All of that.
But I'm sure it would be different than if you had the knowledge that you have now.
Yeah, but maybe only as to alimony. We didn't own any assets.
And my fiance owns properties, you know?
Yeah.
So with him, it's definitely different.
Okay.
And he's older, so.
Nice. We do have some questions.
Sweet.
And thank you so much, Erin and Letitia, for talking about, you know, how dealing with a bad co-parent, because like I said, when we get consultations here, we get the entire spectrum when it comes to divorce, when it comes to child support, when it comes to just time sharing. Everyone's story is different, but the one thing that I think you two have expressed is keeping the best interest of the child at heart before moving forward. And I've talked to you about a couple of cases that, you know, my friends, I've asked you, you know, hey, my friend is dealing with the situation. What can I do? And there have been times where, like, no, they have to come in for that one.
Yeah.
But on, like, just, you know, simple things, you basically have said, your friend's being petty.
Yeah,
Your
I'll
friend's
tell
being-
anyone they're being petty.
your
if
friend's
they're
being a bitch.
petty. I will. I'm not sorry.
I wonder what her advice would have been for what I asked you yesterday.
Ooh.
Yeah, because I know with her, yeah, you would have given some crazy.
I'm mean.
Yeah, you are.
I'm not sorry.
I'm gonna put a little icing on it, you know? I'm gonna give it to you kind of slowly, you know? But
Not me.
yeah, not her.
Yeah, I think, yeah, you would have. I think she would have given the same advice, but she would have pushed me to like go do it now. Like you go to that window like right now.
And I told you like tomorrow, you know?
This is vague.
Yeah, I'll talk about this one off air. But first question that we got
Are
a
these
few,
bad co-parenting questions.
a few. But we do have a generic one right here that I feel that should get some attention. Who determines how assets are divided in a divorce?
A judge or the parties.
How so?
Through the process of equitable distribution, you can come to an agreement in many varieties on how you want to deal with your assets and liabilities. If not, we then take it in front of a judge, and the judge will decide what's equitable. That doesn't mean equal, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Because then it's specific.
Oh, this is a first. Destiny says, any questions y'all have for me?
What do you wish your parents had done differently?
Ooh,
Oh,
that's a good one.
right off the bat, right?
Deep.
So yeah, Destiny, right there. The question from Erin Morse to you: what do you feel? What would you have had your parents do different? So we'll give her some time to type out her answer. But Letitia,
And tell us how old you are, because I want to compare this to, like, obviously all of our children that are going through this process are under the age of 18, right? So I want to express, because based on what she's telling me in the time frame, I think she might be, you know, of an age that I suspect. I'm not going to say it because it's, you know, but that these have lifelong effects.
oh no, they totally
That
do.
your behavior during a divorce affects your children for the rest of their life.
Childhood trauma is real. It's real.
I think that I was too young to understand what was going on in my parents' divorce because
That's not true.
my biological father left when I was 2 months old. My mom remarried and then divorced at
Yeah,
the.
but it had certain effects on you. We've discussed them on the show.
No, we've discussed other factors, but I just want to say it out there, like, because her divorce happened when I was like 4 or 5, and honestly, like, I don't even remember that much of the. Oh yeah, you're right. You made me cry that day. Never mind.
Oh, Erin made you cry.
Erin's made me cry multiple times on the show.
Not in a bad way.
Not in a bad way.
Negative.
No,
It wasn't
no.
negative.
No, there was one time that I had made a comment about my grandfather, and then
And I was like, that's because he loves you, and this is why.
yeah,
Oh, it
and then
was
when she
deep.
came with
It was because he was like, oh my God, like you touched my heart.
deep.
Like
yeah, Erin went freaking deep on that one, and
I can do that to people. I'm good at this. I'm good with people, but I've helped you realize a lot of things that are positive and help you. You've really grown from it.
No,
Like, and I didn't do it in a negative way, like you're bad or anything was bad.
Mm-hmm.
But like this is how to kind of interpret and heal from it.
exactly.
That way, from that front, like in a positive, emotional, moving forward stage, not in a crying like I was mean or something is bad about him, but. Again, that childhood trauma is real, and if you don't know how to like interpret, consume, deal with, and face it, it's not going away.
No.
You just need to lean into it and let it be something that you deal with.
Yep.
And if you're a parent and you came from a broken home, make sure a broken home doesn't come from you. That doesn't mean don't get a divorce. That means don't stay in a broken home. That means don't stay in the brokenness. That means heal the problems, be the change. I'm going to start singing Michael Jackson. I'm starting with...
Oh my God, you're bad.
Oh, cheesy.
Yeah. So Letitia, let me flip this question to you. Basically, who determines how assets are divided in a divorce? Have you ever had to give us an example of like a complex division of assets that you've had to deal with?
You're working on it right now.
Oh yeah, right. So I don't want to talk about it
yesterday.
I don't want to talk about it right now because I'm still learning the case.
She's like, oh my God. I'm like, you just get it. You get it.
The cup.
You want it?
Yeah. So I can.
But I have to say, the one right now is the most complex I've had. A lot of my cases were like paternity cases, and I was practicing in Miami. So not a lot of them had a whole lot of assets. And if they did, they were already like past the drama. They were already past the pettiness. So they just agreed to everything. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Unfortunately, it doesn't always happen like that.
No,
we've got those.
We got
a lot of those. So
we have
welcome to the firm.
We have a buffet.
You're gonna learn all about it.
We have a buffet of those. But okay, so the first question is that sorry, type too fast. She's 21.
Okay.
Okay.
So that goes to show you, parents, this still affects children.
So communicating, not bringing me into the arguments. I was 1 when they divorced, so I don't remember anything from their divorce.
So she spent her whole childhood facing this.
But the child support visitation court battle started when I was around 5 and continued until I was 16.
Oh my God.
I will never allow my children to go through what I went through. Luckily, I can't remember a time where they fought in front of me, but I wish my mom had been more cooperative with my dad. Now, I know Destiny, and I've met her father. Her father is one of the most kindest, sweetest gentlemen I've ever had the pleasure of just hanging out with, having a beer with, chilling. And I can't even think of how he was during the situation, of how nice of a gentleman he is. And Destiny, I know you love your dad more than you can even put into words, but yeah, it must have been difficult for her during that whole ordeal.
That's
Right.
a long time.
Yeah.
She's 21, right?
Yeah.
For a lot of people, or some people, you're really starting like your career in your life, right? Like this is the point when you're, having children and you're thinking about who you're going to date and how you're going to create your career and formulate it. I think Destiny's probably very fortunate because she seems to be comfortable with it and speaking about it and facing it. And whoever gave her that and probably her dad's ability to communicate with her is valuable. But, she's 21 years old. I don't know what her status is of having a child, but I imagine at the point in which her mother becomes a grandmother, that relationship is now strained. So you really ruin your relationships for a long time.
Wow.
You as a parent, like, you need to cooperate and shield them from this. They really don't deserve to know what's going on. Destiny knows what was going on, and that's because it sounds to me like her mom made this mistake.
Wow. And no, Destiny's actually doing pretty good. I know she's enrolled in school. She's
Nice.
I think she might have gotten a degree a little bit ago because I did see her post a certificate of some sort.
Congratulations.
So
Nice job.
I'm sorry, Destiny, for blanking on that one. I'll bring you on chaos as a makeup. My apologies for that one. But next question coming up. My son's father's girlfriend is an OnlyFans model. My son recently told me that his dad has photos of her modeling around the house. What can I do? My son is only 10 and shouldn't be exposed to this.
Are they nude photos?
If it's OnlyFans.
Right, but it says modeling.
Yeah.
He didn't say nude.
So this question actually comes from someone who personally reached out to me.
Oh.
And the issue was that she came to find out through the grapevine. Well, actually, no.
Are they nude? I need to know.
It was pictures, like scantily photos, yes, in the nude, but shadowed the nipple,
So kind of artistic.
kind of artistic. And literally that same face was the response that I gave her in a sense. Of course, I'm not an attorney, but the child wasn't in harm's way. And her argument and her concern was, well, what if they're shooting or taking these photos or videos?
You fucking think they're doing that?
Huh?
Are they doing that?
And you know where I'm going with the question.
Okay, listen. I'm going to ask you.
Yeah.
Even though you're not there and are they doing that?
No.
They're not doing it in front of the kid. And if they are, your phone call needs to not be to a family law attorney. Your phone call needs to be to DCF.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think that they are putting sexually explicit content in front of the children, that's a DCF call. And if you somehow find out that that's what happened, that's when but it needs to be sexually explicit, not
Exactly.
like,
And that was...
I don't like it. So I make this distinction very often. I have to tell my clients this often. As a mother and as a person and a human being who advocates for children, I don't fucking like this, right? It's nasty. I don't like it. It's inappropriate. It's not fair. It's not what I want my son exposed to. But is it illegal, right? I have a sign in my office that says it's not illegal to be an asshole.
I practice that every day.
So that's kind of what I have to say. Like, what's our line, right?
Oh, you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Oh, God.
Boom. Read that.
Nice. I did know Valencia has a bachelor's degree program.
And you know what? She'll be a great family law attorney.
Exactly.
With her background.
She's going to be really good at trying to make sure that she advocates for parents.
Yeah.
So this is a good thing for you.
Yeah, good for you, Destiny. Awesome. So yeah, going back to the question, I'd asked her, like, are they nudes? Are they actually looking at pictures of her exposed breasts, of her vagina, of her ass? But then she stopped me. She's like, my son has seen her butt.
It is pretty well known that in a family setting, that there's going to be a little bit, like, there's a chance that a child would walk in on another person changing.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to happen.
It happens.
My nephew, they came over to my house, and my nephew walked in, and I was sitting in the room, so I saw it happen.
Mm-hmm.
My nephew walked in on my husband changing. We were swimming in the pool, and they were changing. Everybody was changing out of their wet clothes. And my nephew was 4, right? So he doesn't understand boundaries.
Yeah.
And my brother has full custody of him. So my nephew and my brother, my brother has 2 older children with whom he shares custody. So 50% of this little boy's life, it's just him and his dad at the house. Okay? So for him, like, walking through doors is fine because men, right? So obviously my nephew didn't think anything of walking into our bedroom when my husband was changing.
Okay.
Do I tell the story?
Yeah.
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 Do you know what he said?
What'd he say? Oh, God.
He commented, well, luckily...
That's the clip of the week, right there.
Hang tight. Ready? Ready? Uncle Sam, you got a big pee-pee?
Oh, I'm dead.
Yeah.
I'm dead.
Mwah. Good night, everybody.
I was like, and I was like sitting in the room talking with him. I had already changed. I think I didn't go in the pool. It was too cold or something. And Sam was mortified. He was so embarrassed. He
I am so making fun of Sam next time.
Yep, but, fortunately my brother obviously knows that,
Right.
My nephew has no boundaries and just walked in. And, he was like mid pulling up his drawers. And he like pulled him up like in that moment. He's like, Clifford! I'm changing, so it was...
Quick shout out to Destiny saying thank you, signing off. Thank you guys
Thank
for
you for
including
sharing
me in the
your
conversation.
experience. That was really, really kind of you. You didn't have to do that, and we appreciate it.
Okay, so yeah, as long as they're not like explicit photos or like they're holding the camera.
There's a line.
Yeah.
Right? And you gotta tell it. If you really think it's going on, that the child has access and knowledge of the filming.
With us hitting
yes.
almost the hour mark, I got 5 questions.
All right, you want to rapid fire?
I want to rapid fire, but I'm going to leave the last one for you to let it out. Let's throw the first one of the first ones to Letitia. You ready?
No.
Okay. Question: if divorce decree states one parent has right to tax returns every coming year, can this be revoked?
Okay.
How do
Good
you
question.
modify a parenting plan?
Okay, so with that,
Into the mic.
when you said that, it automatically made me think that it has to be the mother with that clause. Do you automatically think that?
Dads.
Really?
Yeah. He pays all the support. Support's really high.
I've never.
Oh, I've negotiated it.
I've never, because
I got some good slam dunks in
because
mediation.
that the tax year is always a bargaining chip. So like if they owe like back child support,
Yeah.
and he's like, listen, I'm not paying all this. I'm like, give up your tax, give it up.
It's a good bargaining chip.
Give it up.
But how can it be changed?
Modification.
What's the standard for a modification?
Substantial.
An
change.
unanticipated change in circumstances.
Yes.
So I don't know why the taxes would be subject to that.
Well, yeah, no.
If
I
you
don't
have a
know.
change perhaps in child support, maybe you can also bring in issue of the taxes. But
That's true.
no, not if you're just like, I think I should get it.
Thank you so much for that question. Here's a current one that's going on right now. What are some fun facts we should know about the stimulus checks during a court proceeding?
It's too expensive to fight in
Don't
court.
bring it to court. Don't.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
I want $2,000 for a motion. That's not half the stimulus. Come on.
I mean, unless you just want to go to court on your own and do
Good
it.
luck.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe you'd succeed on it that you're entitled to half, but
But there's really no case law on it.
no,
So
there's no.
It's hard.
So good luck. I'll do it, but
It's going to cost you a stimulus.
what, I don't.
But it's good practice, for us to go
really
to court.
is.
with
And-
stimulus.
and-
I would like to make some case law on it.
And we joke around with this to shed light on the fact that there are some battles worth fighting and others that, hey, just take the loss. And it's hard for me to say that because working at previous firms and then dealing with people who are like, yo, I let her borrow $700 and she has to pay me back. I want to go to court. It's not worth it. It's totally not
Now,
worth it.
I think we could put it in your equitable distribution worksheet.
Oh,
That's how I would-
407-900-7451.
I can do something with it, but I need the right facts.
Let's see. Okay. So here's a big one, and let's see how both of y'all take this one. My husband and I currently have recently been investing in cryptocurrency and stocks. We currently have shares in some pretty big companies. How do we go about in division of assets if we were to split?
Based on the value on the date of filing or the date of separation.
Now, would that be split 50-50, or would that be like...
Depends.
Or an agreed date. I'm fresh off case law on that.
Generally, yes. If some of the funds were premarital, you'll have to prove it.
Mm-hmm.
But if it was all marital funds, yeah, 50-50.
Okay. Thank you so much for that one, because that's a big topic right now. Because cryptocurrency is all over the place right now, and I'm sure we're in the next few weeks or so we're going to be seeing that.
The mandatory disclosure, the rules of family procedure, were updated in January to include that you have to disclose your cryptocurrency.
Oh shit, Taki.
I'm on top of my
Oh my
shit.
god. So here's the last question, and please don't kill me when I ask it.
Hold on.
I'm already mad.
What do I do if I don't agree with what my attorney is giving me advice that I don't agree with? Oh wow, they messed up that one.
So
If I don't agree with my attorney,
you can always pay and have another consultation. Ask another attorney, right? You're entitled to do that. Switch your attorney.
yeah.
If you really think your attorney's leading you poorly down a poor path and they're not right and it's wrong, but don't go rogue and keep that attorney. So I think I know what you're referencing. I had a frustrating circumstance with this where I told my client, and this is the advice I give to many clients, I'll send you all an invoice for this very special legal advice. When you go to court, answer only the question that's asked of you. I actually did this to you.
Yes, you've done this to me multiple times.
Answer only the question that's asked of you. Don't add commentary. Don't think of something else. Don't be like, but I just want the court to know. Don't fucking do that.
Don't do a Bill Cosby impression.
I wasn't. I was doing like a, I'm such a moron.
Oh shit!
But don't. And I had one case in particular where I had been prepping with this client for hours and hours and hours. So he paid me a lot of money to prepare him for these things that were really important.
I remember.
And I was like, make sure you answer only the questions that's asked. You really want to focus on it. Especially when you're speaking with opposing counsel or the judge. And anything that I need to clarify or that I think needs more information or is relevant or is important, I will ask you, because I can always redirect. I can always, I just want to call my client back to the stand to clarify one particular point. I'll do that. But this particular client didn't follow that advice. And he started telling the story, and the judge literally said, you need to answer what was asked, Mr. Schmo. You need to, that's not the question was asked, and I'm going to strike that because it, whatever, starts doing all these things. And later on, I we're debriefing after the hearing, and I'm like, Joe, that's not his name. Joe, you did exactly what I told you not to do. You didn't answer the question that was asked on a number of occasions. Because you've told me a number of times this, and that was what was asked of you, and you didn't get that into evidence. Because you weren't thinking about the question that was asked, you were thinking about the point you thought you wanted to make, or the things that you thought were important that aren't relevant to today's hearing. So you went off the reservation. I said, this judge knows me. I've been in front of him a number of times, and he knows, because he was a lawyer, how you prepare a client. That you tell him, answer the question that's asked, be polite, don't go on and on.
Yeah.
If you tell like these long stories, those can be stricken. So don't do that. His got stricken. And I'm like, he's like, well, doesn't he just see me as a passionate father? I'm like,
that's a unique way of calling it.
Yeah. Look, I'm not an attorney, but like, yeah, I even I know that one. Come on.
I was like, no, he doesn't. He sees you as someone who is unable to control himself. Someone who can't focus, someone who doesn't listen, and someone who doesn't take their advice. And if you're not taking your attorney's advice, which he knows how much you're paying me, I'm $300 an hour. Come on. He knows how much you're paying me, and you didn't take my advice in court. He thinks you're unable to be controlled. So you think that's going to go for you or against you while your wife wants to take your children away? Saying that you have an anger issue and you're not in control of your person and your emotions.
Now, did he get it? Do you think he got it?
No, because I'm a good lawyer. not.
As we're about to sign off, I do want to say...
But listen to my advice.
Yeah, no, for real. Listen to her advice. I've been working with Erin for a little bit over a year and a half, and I have yet to lose an argument with a girlfriend, a booty call, a serious relationship. Like, no, I have not lost any argument. So I thank you, Erin, because you have created a monster. So thank you.
You know, the other thing about it is I had a hearing literally today.
Uh-huh.
My client, I did his original divorce. Mm-hmm. I'm like, this is the path. Yeah, you're laughing because I'm right. Okay, listen. I'm like, this is the path you need to take. This is the professional you need to do, and these are do A, B, C, and D. Okay, you're good to go. You don't need anything more from me. You're not gonna get any more money I'm not gonna need to get any more money from you. 2 years later, yeah, you will.
It's a small crime, but it's still a crime.
Yeah. Could be a hate crime. Could be a big one. So.
Yeah, be the bigger person.
If.
I'm sorry.
If he had taken my advice. So then they filed a motion for contempt.
Uh-huh.
Right? This is what I had to defend him on. He had to pay me to defend him, whatever. I pay my bills. This is how I, pay my student loans back, and they're high. And I tell him when we get the motion, I'm like, all right, remember that advice I gave you 2 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to do it now? He did it. And then when we went to the hearing, the court was like, oh, looks like once he realized it didn't work out, he did the right thing, and this looks great, and contempt denied. But the other side wanted $4,500
Oh, damn.
in attorney's fees. And there was like a point in the hearing where the judge is looking over the affidavit of attorney's fees and thinking about how much he's going to give. And I was like, Your Honor, if I may be heard, I was like, do not do this. It's not right. Anyway, I was able to get him out of it, but not to be a jerk, but had you listened the first time? It's fine. I made some money of it. I got him out of it. But because he had to listen to my advice and we had to scramble to get it done.
And it worked out.
I love this show. As always, 407-900-7451. If you would like to schedule a consultation, you could either give us a call or go to our website, morse-firm.com.
We have a shout out to me.
We do have a shout out. I was not going to forget, and I just wanted to make sure that I had the proper spelling. And we do want to give a quick shout out to one of our favorite listener. And our. I thought I just did that. There we go. Our number one young little fan. I'm putting up a little banner.
Other than Connor, he doesn't even care actually at all. He's like, okay, Mom.
I'm sorry.
To him. I think I'm getting to the stage where I embarrass him.
Yeah.
Oh, come on! Don't be the embarrassing mom.
Oh, I am.
It comes so naturally.
I don't even care. I'm like, love you so much.
But we do want to give a special shout out to our number one young fan, Angeli, who has I've heard through your dad that you have not missed not one of our shows. And I know we do go a little bit off the rails every now and then.
Oof.
And
I'm sorry.
We do it out of, just out of passion and love, But we do want to give you a shout out. We love you. And thank you so much for being a fan of the show. You listening does mean a lot.
When you grow up and you become an attorney and you go to law school, I want you to intern and work for me in my office.
Boom.
Boom. Ask a former intern of mine.
Yes.
Oh my God, yes.
It works out. I'm telling you.
So, Angeli, thank you so much for listening, and everyone listening right now, thank you so much. Check us out, morse-firm.com, 407-900-7451. Once again, Letitia, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule. Thank you for letting us bend your arm to be on the show. And Erin, before we give it to Erin, do you have anything you want to say or plug or...
Any good life advice that you wish more people knew, and it doesn't have to be related to family law?
Well, okay, I will say this. And this relates to every aspect of your life. Don't be petty. That's it.
Wow. I need to get
second
that on record so I can play that to all the people in my life that are
We
being.
should make a song.
Oh, don't get me started. Don't get me started.
I can't sing. It's awful. I don't dance. I do. I'm sorry. Let me correct that. I do dance. It's just not very.
Not very well.
Not very good. It's
Oh.
not very good.
But you try.
I can't.
Something.
I can't.
Like Elaine.
I can't dance nor can I sing, but damn it, can I press play so hard on a record player?
Hey,
Is what it is. But Erin, anything you want to say before we head out of here? Your
No,
your final
I want to
thoughts?
thank Anne Green for her very kind comment on my personal page. I'm not even going to say what it is, but that was very sweet of her.
I'm sorry for taking the thunder. I do have to say one thing real quick to the Facebook page, Paralegals Off the Clock. Thank you so much for approving one of my posts. Because for the past year that I've been on that page, not one of my posts have been approved. Finally, we got one that got approved.
Nice!
woo!
Yeah, so check out our latest post that we got with South Park. That one is by far
It's funny.
it breaks parenting plans down to the T.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
But we are out of here. Y'all have a great night, and we'll see y'all next week.
Don't be petty.